Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Big Brother Canada 6. This is a week 7 live after show rant. Just want to go on the record. Earlier today, we had posted that Hamza was going to be on. Well, Hamza, as life happens, got a little too busy and something came up, which I understand. It happens. And trust me, no one is as disappointed as I am. I went and got extra Botox for this show a few days ago. So whatever. But instead, we have Joel Lefevre from Big Brother 4 Canada with us today.
Hey, what's
everyone
what's
clap? Hello.
Hey, Joel.
What's up? A bit of a level down from Hamza. Quite the polar opposite. If you remember my gameplay from Hamza's gameplay, I don't know that I was quite the erratic, all over the place player that Hamza was, but happy to be here.
Hey, but it worked out for you. You got a lot farther than he did. So
true story.
True. And let's say you've already leveled up because you're here, period.
That's true. That is
there you go. I'll take it.
So this has been, I don't know, a very crazy week in the Big Brother house. Like we said, Erica became HOH again. Didn't even try. I think she had both hands behind her back. Won it blinking. I think she blinked her way to winning this competition.
That's all it takes for Erica at this point, really.
I don't even think it was a full blink. I think she was just winking.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah.
She can't lose even when she tries. But then again, maybe she's just blowing smoke up our butts. But I don't know. It's Big Brother. Blowing smoke up someone's butt is like necessary.
I don't know.
So I don't know. Ryan got nominated along with Marin, and Marin went home. So someone take it from here.
Yeah, I think that I can speak for a majority of the people when I say that I'm kind of happy Marin's the one that left.
Mm-hmm. I'm not
crazy. No.
Why? Because Erica had an opportunity to use Marin as a tool. Although he's pretty useless as far as winning competitions and stuff like that, she didn't have to be afraid of him. But she had an opportunity to not put him on the block and use him as a goat with a vote. Mm-hmm. You know, because the more support you have underneath of you, the further you can get. So if he knew that he was going to be safe, you know, behind her, under her, whatever, she could have used that. And she could have gotten out like a shit stirrer like Ryan, or another shit stirrer like Paris, somebody like that who's a floater. So I think she missed the mark. I love Erica, but I think she missed the mark on this week.
I think she definitely missed the mark for sure. It's just because no matter what, she's always going to be a gigantic target because she's the one who's like the white horse up in front right now, who's just like kicking butt in everything. So I think her best bet was to like just take out other people so that she can win out down the stretch, kind of like Kevin did last year. But I think if she had to choose between Ryan and Marin, it was common knowledge around the house said that he was going after Erica, and he was really, really tight with Derek and Kayla. So I think if you choose between them, it's better for Erica's game. Do I think it's better for everyone else's game that Ryan is in there as opposed to Marin? Not necessarily, but I think Marin made a few faux pas that could have helped his game out, that kind of made him a little uneasy with some of the house guests. So
yeah, my biggest concern for Erica with going for like more heavy hitters instead of taking out somebody like Marin is, you know, you guys are right. Like she is like this huge target. Why not keep those meat shields in the house for a little bit longer? We're not in like week like 8 or 9 just yet. Like I think that there still is a lot of time for her to be targeted and taken out, and I don't think that she like all it takes is for her like not to be picked for a power veto on a week that she can't compete for HOH, and then there's nothing that she can do about it. I think that she definitely does need those bigger shit stirs like in front of her, like parents, like Ryan. So I don't know. I'm not as down on taking Marion out at this point. I think that he's pretty much like a non-entity for pretty much everybody in the house. And plus, like, I don't think I'm always team TV as well, and I don't think that he was the best TV either.
No.
What is it?
Not at all.
Isn't it though kind of like Erica is the HOH and she can put whoever she wants up for nominations that's good for her game. But at the end of the day, she's not making the final decision as to who leaves the house.
Sure.
So all of the other players are going to do what's best for their game.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure really what went on. I'm not too sure what led up to them keeping Ryan over Marin, because wasn't there like a big argument, like a big fight between Allie and Ryan that the show only like aired like 3 minutes of?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically what happened there was Ryan went around and said that Allie said about somebody like, don't trust that bitch or something.
Was
like
that true?
We don't know because the feeds were down during that time, or like the camera wasn't on her. So we don't know definitively for sure. But honestly, I could see Allie saying that. And I actually think Ryan handled himself pretty okay in that house meeting too. In my opinion, I think Allie kind of came off worse because when you're being accused of something, I think if you really like go after that person and say like, I didn't do that, how dare you, like really get like heated about it, that to me makes it look like you're guilty of something and you're trying to cover your tracks.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a really good observation on your part, because even if you actually are being told a lie, the way you handle it, you have to. It's not just about like how you yourself deal with it, but it's like how does your body language and how does the words you say and how you say it, how is it perceived with other people? So sometimes you need to like take a step back from that. I think that Ryan was exaggerating, was probably doing something desperate to keep himself in there, but you could tell the whole time, even when Allie was at him, he was just like, you know what, I know, and he was. I think he was lying because he said, you know what, I think this is what I heard. I'm pretty sure this is this. He didn't say like, yup, you said that, right? Because if he was like 100% sure, he would have been like, yeah, you said that. What are you talking about, right? But yeah. He was just like, I believe that, and he beats around the bush a lot. He's like, well, I believe that this could have been happening, or it seems to me that this was. So he does an okay job of like, making people believe that stuff, but he doesn't just say like up and yep or nope, right? Which makes me think that he was exaggerating it. But yeah, you're 100% right. He was just like 100% just taking it all in. He wasn't going back at Allie and like, yo, come on with this. And that's how you look. And that's what Veronica made that huge mistake last week as well, when people were getting at her for the vote. All she had to do was say, you know what? It wasn't me. I don't know who it was. And that's it. And that's it. But she went on about like, what the fuck? It doesn't matter. Or what the hell? And that made her look so suspicious.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I do love how when they were having the meeting, this is so something I would say when she says, you think you heard this? And Ryan was like, oh, no, I don't think. I know I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard it. That's how I am in arguments.
Yeah, but like really, like I totally agree with Joel. Like, you know, perception is reality in the Big Brother house. Like it almost doesn't matter like if it really was true. Like the perception that Allie is coming across to everybody in the house is that she has something to hide, like she's lying because she's freaking out so much. And like we can really compare Ryan's growth in this game between like this little house meeting and the last one where Veronica called him out. Like, remember how like we all said like how terribly like Ryan looked at the end of that house meeting? It's really interesting to me that at least for me, I'm seeing a growth in his gameplay socially. Strategically, we all know that he's like one of the smartest in the house, blah, blah, blah. But we've always said about Ryan, I don't know if he has like the social chops to be able to integrate himself into the house and get what he needs done with all these like genius ideas that he has. But obviously he's learning that, and it's it's really incredible to me to see that growth in how he's handled like these house meetings. I like A+ job. Like I think he did really great in that moment. So good for Ryan.
He went to sleep in the beginning. He was asleep in the beginning. Then he won HOH and he was awake, or woke, as the kids say. Then he went back to sleep because I even said, yo, who haven't we seen lately stirring things up? And that's Ryan. And now he's back up. It's like he goes to sleep and he wakes up when he needs to.
But honestly, that's okay. Like you don't need to be like on 24/7.
He's a diabolical shit stirrer.
They need to tell some of these people in this house that we don't need you on 24/7, please.
So what else can we talk about? Oh yeah, so Johnny won another veto. What did you guys think about that?
I don't know. I personally like Johnny. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I will be honest with you. If I were in the house with him, he would scare me to death and intimidate the shit out of me because I would always be in fear of him coming at me like he did Olivia.
Yeah.
Like he seems like the kind of guy that's on your team. But the minute you start thinking for yourself, he's in your face saying you're fucking me over and he will turn on you.
Yeah.
And I mean, that scares me a little bit.
I think his gameplay is amazing.
Yeah.
That everybody has totally forgotten that he won the HOH and the veto, and they were both difficult competitions. And then kind of, went back into the bushes like Homer Simpson and, just blended in like wallpaper, after that, and just made everybody forget that he is a competition beast. And I think everybody is going to be in trouble if, he starts, beasting it out.
Yeah.
I want to ask Joel about this from being somebody who's actually been inside the Big Brother house. So somebody like a player like Johnny, somebody who's playing all sides like really, really well. Do you think that like the players in there have an awareness that he's making deals with everybody? Or do you think it's really like that masterful where nobody's really picking up on it? Or are they picking up on it, but they're okay with it because they think that his true allegiance is to them, kind of like a Paul situation?
I think it's the one comparison that I hear a lot of people saying on podcasts and saying on Twitter with Johnny is the comparison to Mitch on my season, where Mitch was subtly just really doing a good job of the social game, of interacting with people, of not showing too much of his cards, but also like giving them enough information where they're like, okay, well, I think that's good enough. And I think Johnny is doing that. So he's doing a very subtle job. One of the things I've been really impressed with Johnny about in terms of his gameplay has been the way that he talks to people to subtly try to get things to turn his way when it comes to every single vote. And it's a different thing from Ryan. Ryan was doing it, especially in his HOH, in a very aggressive way and saying like, you're going to be a threat if you do this. And if you do this, this is going to happen to you and watch out for this. And Ryan wasn't necessarily wrong when he's saying that, but when you come at somebody like that, it comes off to them as a bit passive aggressive and a bit threatening to them. And nobody likes feeling that way when you're talked to like that. Whereas Johnny can go to you and say like, I think it's a good idea if you do this. And I think this would really help you out. I think this could really be beneficial to us. He mentions us a lot, or he says, I think this would really be beneficial to you. And that makes you think like, oh, he's looking out for me. He's such a sweet guy. He's keeping me on the down low about some of the stuff that I might not be aware of. And that makes you just really take him in and really trust him. I do think he did make a mistake in the double eviction of how aggressive he came out to defending Maddie, but somehow he got away with it. And I think it was at the start of the week. There was a conversation I think he was having with Olivia, Olivia had a conversation with Maddie about like, hey, you really have Johnny to thank for you not going up on the block. And that made Olivia look like, I don't know if that was just like her not thinking and just in the moment saying that, but Olivia kind of did Johnny a big favor at the start of this week by saying, Johnny really like fought hard for you to stay off the block. So if I'm Maddie, I'm like, well, Johnny's obviously got my back. Johnny was willing to literally go right at them and say, absolutely, don't even have her touch the block. Even if she's going to be a pawn, she's not going to touch the block. That to me, if I'm Maddie, makes me trust Johnny so much. So like the initial, like Johnny really coming at Olivia and saying like, don't put her up, I thought was like, when I was watching that, I was like, oh man, okay, he's obviously really tight with Maddie, tighter with Maddie than anybody else. Yeah. But then Olivia kind of helped him diffuse that situation by saying, hey, you got Johnny to thank for this. I'm really impressed with Johnny's gameplay. He's got a few small little subtle faux pas, but for the most part, I think he seems to be fairly well positioned, or at least was this week.
Yeah. Joel, what are your thoughts on Olivia? Like, what do you think about her?
Olivia, I think she's doing an okay job of strategizing, of really, like, she knows who to talk to try to get her way. I don't think she's as good of a campaigner and talker as Maddie is. We saw, like I just mentioned before, about when she said, you know, Maddie, I was close to putting you up. Like, you don't even, there's no need to say that. There is, right. You just like keep that to yourself, keep that in your head, and don't even, because if somebody else thinks that you considered them for nomination, that should make everyone else super paranoid and not trusting of you at all. But I think Olivia is more calm and more grounded than her partner in crime, Allie. And I think Olivia, I thought that she might have been a smart move to take out during Ryan's HOH, and she was luckily able to escape that. And I think she is in a decent spot right now, but she does have the ties with Allie right now, which was like really surprising to me that nobody was ever really like considering them as a duo to want to take them out. Because the further along we get along in the game, and we're getting to the jury point right now, you want to like chop out numbers as much as you can. And that includes Derek and Kayla, Allie and Liv. Those should be some of the top people on your hit list right now, including Erica.
Joel, when you played, you kind of played all sides of the house. You were kind of aligned with pretty much everybody. How stressful was that?
Yeah, that was us. I always knew that I was in an okay position, but because our house was so split, I hadn't ever anticipated the fact that it was going to come down to my vote, like every single week almost. It was like, I felt like it was going to be, I felt like I always had to think of like an individual reason why I wasn't going to vote one way or another. I always knew usually which way I was going to vote come eviction time. But the more stressful part was like, okay, now I have to do damage control because I wasn't really in any huge set alliances, or at least none that were common knowledge in the house. So I always felt like I needed to come up with my own individual reason why, say, I wanted to get rid of Christine over Cassandra. And I couldn't tell them that it was, well, because me and Cassandra made a Final Two alliance. I had to be like, well, because Christine did this to me, or because Christine said this about me. So I always, it's a good position because you're not the one targeted and you're obviously in an okay position, but you always have to keep in mind when you're sort of that last vote, you're the one that everybody is looking towards. And my game is a little bit exposed in that 5 people know for sure that I didn't vote with them, and then those other people I voted with. So I've got to explain myself to those other people because I'm not really committed one way or the other to an alliance. So I always had to make sure that I was thinking of a really good excuse that made sense to those other people. Like, it's not that I'm not with you. It's just because Christine was a little shady, or it's just because Maddie was doing a few other things that kind of bugged me. So it was it was a stressful position, but like the more and more I was in that position, the more I was like, well, you know what? Could be like a good argument for me at the end that I was like the last one that held all the power for all these weeks.
For sure. And I think that your season was kind of unique in the sense that like it was so divided, and you guys had that infamous Mighty Middle alliance, which really like that was the driving force like the entire season, as compared to like this season in Big Brother Canada 6, where there's so much fluidity in the house. Like I'm sitting here thinking, like, in my opinion, I think Olivia is the safest person like this upcoming week, but that could honestly change in like the flip of a switch, and like Johnny could be figured out so easily and put up, and I really can just see like so many different directions where the rest of the season can go, and I'm so excited about it.
Well, Mars said in the chat room, Olivia has thick skin. She doesn't get rattled. She's always usually one of the top finishers on the challenges. I will say she's not an easy nut to crack.
Yeah.
Like it is like
a question mark in my head.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Hamza was evicted, and everyone's crying, and they go into her in the diary room. He just got evicted. It's not like he's dead. I mean, I live for her eye rolls, because her eye rolls are like how I feel sometimes, and it's just kind of like.
It's so funny.
It's just a game. Why are you upset? I mean, it's just constant. The eye rolls. They crack me up every time. She is the only person I've ever seen in my life that can like roll their eyes 50 different ways, and they all have 50 different meanings. Yeah. It is insane. But would you say, Joel, being in multiple alliances in the house, did you ever feel like, I don't know, were you constantly in like damage control mode? Like, what if?
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time, because when you put yourself in that position, it's very easy because there's so much downtime to slip up and to say like, you know, I was so careful even to say like, you know, I really love Cassandra, or, you know, Tim's fucking awesome, if I was talking to the brothers, because I didn't want them to have any suspicion whatsoever to be like, why did Joel say that about Tim? Is he in an alliance? So I was very much always aware in the back of my head to not be spending too much time with one or two people, to not overly talk game, but talk enough game with the brothers who I had an alliance with Tim and Cassandra, who I was also really tight with Levita and Dallas, who I had an early alliance with. And I wanted to spend enough time to socialize with them so they felt comfortable just like talking to me in general. I wanted to talk just enough game with them, but then when I felt like, okay, I'm spending a little too much time with them, Dallas is going to be paranoid. It's like, well, pretend you have to like get up and get a drink of water, or go get something to eat, or go to the bathroom, or whatever. So yeah, I was always in that damage control mode to be like, I'm with all these people right now. I'm in an okay spot, but it can blow up at any second. And that's the dangerous thing about that sort of position, is all it takes is one person to go to someone else to be like, yeah. So what do you think about Joel? Did Joel make any deals with you? Yeah. And then it didn't happen. It didn't really blow up in my face until that final five, when I was up against my number one ally, Cassandra, and she really didn't have any other options but to throw me under the bus. So I feel like if I didn't play it off like that and divvy up my time to talk game with people and to socialize with everybody in the house, they could have easily just had a long extended conversation, and then my name gets brought up, and then who knows how far I go in that situation. So you're always in damage control mode when you're that. I mean, you should be, in my opinion, if you're that middle person.
Like one Jenga piece getting moved the wrong way, everything
let me tell you guys something. Like, it's so easy to slip up in everyday life. Like, gee, like my son found out Santa Claus wasn't real because of one of my massive fuckery slip ups. Okay,
Santa Claus isn't real.
Spoiler alert! If anyone's watching, Santa's not real. Yeah, I mean, seriously. You know, it is so easy. And that is like one thing that bothers me the most is about if I ever did play is not slipping up and just because all you've got is time.
You have to have a good memory. You have to have a good memory.
I think, guys, like it's important to note that like I think that every like even the best Big Brother player slips up at some point in the game. Like there's no possible way for you to not make any mistakes throughout your entire like 70 to 90 days in the house. But it's more so about how you recover from those mistakes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Joel, is it true that you had a secret Final 2 alliance with Marinara?
I think that was one of the only people when I got to the 7 or 6 people left that I didn't have an alliance with. I had one with the brothers to go to the end. I had one with Cass to go to the end. I wanted to make one with Nikki around the time when Jared got voted off, but unfortunately Nikki went in that double, and then that sort of let that go. But Nikki, I'm pretty sure would have taken me to the end. And when Kelsey was HOH, I was trying to harbor something with her to be like, hey, like me and you should go to the end. But she never actually fully committed to it. But I tried to get something going with Kelsey as well.
So no Marinara alliance.
I'm afraid not. It probably would have been the easiest win though against somebody, because even like easier than beating Nikki in a final 2, simply because I would have pitched an argument and then they would have asked Marinara, and
Marinara has nothing to say. Because Marinara was nothing but a pet spider, just so you know.
It'd be the easiest possible victory in the history of Big Brother Canada, but it also would have been the worst finale for fans to see ever, because they'd be like, there's no drama in this. Arissa they don't even have to put the dramatic music or Arissa reviewing the votes. They'll be like, all right, it's between Joel and Marinara, and Joel gets $100,000.
What did you guys think of Marin announcing to everyone when he left the house that they just eliminated Canada's boy? I'm sitting here thinking, honey, that's probably a decision Canada's been regretting for a really long time. So I don't really think they're that upset, but I thought that they weren't allowed to, like, I guess maybe he got okay from production to do that.
Well,
I don't know.
Like they tell you not to, or else you'll get evicted.
Oh, well, he was already evicted. I just thought it was.
You're literally walking out the door. So what do you have?
Yeah. I just thought it was funny. You guys just evicted America's boy. I mean, Canada's boy. And I'm like, they're not. Nobody's losing sleep.
Yeah. Nobody cares. I do have a question for you guys, though. Why do you guys think that Johnny, like, why does he have such a hard-on for protecting Maddie in this game? Like, why? I feel like there's been multiple times where Johnny has really spent a lot of social currency to make sure that Maddie stays safe. And in my opinion, like, I don't think, in my opinion, like, in Johnny's shoes, I don't really see the reason why Maddie is so, like, pivotal to his game.
Maybe he thinks he can win against her. Maybe he thinks she's the only one he could win against.
Yeah, I mean, Mars is saying in the chat the same thing. He's saying that she's a goat.
Yeah.
Which is really sad to me, because she's like the big like super fan this season. And but I agree, like she's not really she's not
displaying her abilities. So, you know, nobody knows that she's this big giant super fan. So
Right.
they don't have that respect for her as being, you know, knowledgeable about the game and being fierce competitor. So
Right.
she doesn't have that respect. So they look at her as a goat.
Yeah. And I also think that, which really makes me sad to admit, because I love her, but I think that Paris is starting to get a little bit of GOAT potential too. I'm looking at the board and I really don't see too many people I think that she could win against. I don't think that she has like that close of bonds with anybody really. I think that she's very expendable at this point.
Paris is her worst enemy too.
Yeah, exactly.
She really is.
you know, because she's been playing this like, oh, I'm such a dumb girl, haha. But like now, like we're in jury, so you can't have people keep thinking like you're this like dumb girl now. Like you have to start making moves. And I really want her to get power and make like a big move or something, because I really think that she needs it right now.
Well, here's the thing about Johnny. He said he can't wait to stop. Didn't he say it like last week? I can't wait to become the butterfly and just unleash all of it. Like, I'm so tired of being nice to these people. Yeah. I want to shake things up. And yeah. As much as I want to see see Johnny do this, I feel like that will be the end for him.
Yeah, it's true.
I really do.
Like I said, like his whole like master game could be unraveled so easily, and that's why like I really don't think that he's going to win this game. Like I think it's kind of too good to be true almost for him to be the winner of this season.
Right. Well, let's get into some spoilery stuff real quick. If you don't want to know who's HOH or whatever, thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Okay. I don't know what the hell is going on. I was down for the count yesterday. All I know is Kayla became HOH. Mm-hmm. Can somebody tell me if Eric fold on Erica to keep her from blinking to a win?
Well, Erica, she couldn't.
Oh, she didn't play.
So that's the only reason why
she was the outgoing HOH. That's the reason.
Who's the blonde in the room? It's me. Here's the thing. That's the only way she can't win HOH is because she was HOH last week. Okay, yep. I got it. So, but what happened? Do we know anything?
Okay, so it was that endurance competition where they're holding the thing up.
Right.
And Kayla has been very known to be this like physical, like athletic girl. So I'm really not surprised that she came out with this win. And I'm really excited to see where she takes this HOH, because I've been saying like for a couple of weeks now that I think that Kayla is a really fantastic player. I think that she could win this season. I think that she's smart. I think that she's competitive. I think that I really wish that Derek would go, honestly, so that she can be more free and not seen as like Dayla, more so just Kayla. And I think that point is going to come pretty soon. But yeah, so I'm just excited to see what she does with this HOH, because I'm
kind of disappointed though.
Who did she nominate?
Well, yesterday, she was really stirring the shit, between Ryan throwing everybody under the bus because she talked to him first. He threw everybody under the bus, saying that who were the four people? Will, Paris,
Johnny, I think was one.
Johnny and Maddie all told him. Well, Maddie came up to him and told him that he had to change his direction and go after Dayla this week, and they'll keep him in. So he had to go up to every single person and say, hey, listen, next week I'm going to go after Dayla if you keep me. Mm-hmm. So apparently that's what he had to do last week. So Ryan goes to Kayla and tells her that. So then while she's doing her HOH interviews, she confronts every single person, and then they in turn start to throw each other under the bus, and it was a complete shit show. And then she goes and nominates Ryan. Yeah. And who else did she nominate?
Will.
And Will. Okay. So I just don't understand her nominations.
Yeah, I'm excited to see like what she'll have in like the diary room sessions and stuff to kind of explain that. Mm-hmm. But I'm on the same page. And they actually just picked players for the power of veto. So of course Kayla, Ryan, Will, but then also playing is Derek, Erica, and Johnny. So Erica could pull out another win this week.
Yeah. Now, Joel, if you were Kayla,
yep,
and you were HOH this week, who would you have nominated?
Well, I think before that whole conversation that Deb brought up with Ryan, Erica would have been an obvious person to take out in a backdoor scenario at that point. But one of the interesting things from that long talk Ryan had where he was throwing everybody under the bus, and this is an interesting thing that I think makes Erica look really good, and it's probably as good of a situation as Erica could have asked for, given how far in front she is competition-wise and in terms of big moves to sort of be. She's like the top dog, clearly the top dog right now in the house if you rank like overall gameplay and everything like that. But the problem is that that's common knowledge to everybody in there, which means that she's number one on everybody's radar. So she's going to have to pull off like a Kevin Martin performance from last season, I feel like, to get all the way. But one of the things when Kayla was asking for all this information was she asked Ryan, like, hey, so what about Erica? Was Erica in on any of this? And Ryan like stood up for her and was basically like, no, Erica had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was these four people. Erica was just sitting in her HOH room, and the only reason she was like pushing for Marin was for obvious reasons, because Marin was telling people around the house that he was going after Erica if he was staying. So like, why the hell not? Why the hell would she not target somebody like that? And that's a reason that makes sense to everybody in the house, and they wouldn't hold that against somebody for that reason. So Ryan did Erica a huge favor. I don't know how much that's going to like minimize her target, but in a situation where Erica is a little bit more vulnerable this week, and she hasn't been vulnerable for much of the game so far. I think she's only been able to be 15
like
minutes or something like that. For like 15 minutes or something like that, she's been not safe for this game. And that was during that time in the double eviction. So, Erica probably came off as good as she could have been during this early stage of the HOH. But it's not, I don't think it's the right nominations, especially when Ryan gave Kayla all this information. I don't think Ryan will be her number one target. I think at this stage, a good option for Kayla is probably Johnny, but at the same time, Johnny is somebody who's capable of winning comps at this stage. So did she figure like maybe Will, if it's a backdoor, it's not a terrible nomination, I guess, now that I think about it, because as long as everyone else who's picked is on board with using the veto, then it's okay. But
so backdooring Johnny Johnny, I think, is the best move at this point, simply because he's got his hand in everybody's pot right now. He's the one who's got, I don't know how common knowledge it is with everybody in there, but it seems to me that Johnny heading into this week was laughing in terms of like, I'm here. And if you look at worst case scenario situations, Johnny seemed like he was fairly well covered, that no matter who was head of household, he was probably not going to be the number one target for them. Yeah. But all it takes is other people to catch on and like, who's the best position right now? So I do think a Johnny backdoor should be the smart move to do. But that
would be crazy. Because then, like, literally, we would only be down to 3 guys. We would have Ryan, Will, and Derek. Like, I don't, Joe, like, maybe, and like either of you, Zeb and Allison too, have we ever had this much of an imbalance of men leaving? I think the only thing I can kind of think of to compare is like Big Brother 6 in the US. Like, I feel like a lot of guys left early that season too. But in recent memory, I really don't think it's been this gender heavy in terms of like females to males in the house.
I can't remember any time that I can't off the top of my head.
Yeah, definitely not in the Canadian history of the show. The Canadian history of the show, my season in particular, I think all of the women were getting chopped off left and right, and the women were the ones that were in power through the early stages of the game. Levita was head of household twice in week 1 and week 3, and she nominated 2 women. I think I was the first person, ironically, to nominate a guy in the house because I nominated Raul along with Kelsey, but Kelsey ended up going home. And so it wasn't until Dallas, I think, that a guy got voted off. So there was only one pre-jury guy on my season. So for the most part, it's uncommon, and it could go back to the whole thing about like strong women and strong women not really like getting along and meshing together is the reason why there isn't a lot of hugely successful all women alliances in Big Brother like there is on Survivor. It's also a much longer game than Survivor, so I feel like maybe in Survivor those kind of women alliances are more successful simply because they're like, well, it's only another week or two that we need to like deal with each other and then we can go on. Whereas like there it's another month and a half. So it's a little more difficult.
I think the difference between Big Brother and Survivor is in Survivor, you're starving, you're hungry. There's not that sexual tension that goes on because Lord knows nobody's getting any woodies when you're stinking that bad. So there's not all that. There's not as much sexual tension. People aren't looking to hook up and, make relationships so much as they are in the Big Brother house where, you have all these young, beautiful girls and these, handsome guys and all of this downtime. They have nothing better to do than look at each other and fall in love. And, one person falls in love with the other person and the other girl that's, left out is jealous. Yeah. So then, you have all this jealousy going on. And that's why girls cannot get along in the Big Brother house because.
But what's really interesting this season in particular is that the showmances we have had, they've gotten like 0 airtime. Which I think is
good.
Right.
I'm over it.
Joe, I had a hot take last week on this show. I said there's no way a woman is not winning this season. Do you agree with that?
I said that from the very beginning of the show that I felt like some of the women, and you can't take too much off of pregame stuff, but you can get a good idea of how well spoken people are, how they're answering questions. And when you've played the game before, you can also understand based on some of their answers, how many of them are like just saying that because they heard some of these terminologies and phrases used in Big Brother, and then how some of them are speaking and being more analytical with their answers, that these are a bit of the smarter ones. I said right away from the beginning, and I agree with you, that Kayla is eventually going to be a front runner to win, not because I thought that she was really smart and sociable, but also because the whole perception thing, when you look at her, when you hear her speak, at least when I heard her speak the first time in her pregame stuff, she was like the sweetest, most outgoing, bubbly type of person. And that type of a person, I felt like, who's going to be like worried about her just in how she speaks and how she acts. She had a perception of being like ditzy, which is a good thing if that's how everyone sees you, because they can be like, well, I need to worry about this person like way down the road. I'm not worried about this person right now. So yeah, I definitely, Erica as well was another one. Erica was my winner pick from the very beginning, and I said,
mine too.
I said if it's not Erica, it's going to be Kayla. Paris as well, I thought was somebody who was well-spoken, who seemed to be sociable, and who could sort of finagle her way around the game. So there was definitely more of the women that I felt would go deep in the game than the guys would. I thought some of the guys were like people that didn't know a lot about the game. Some of the guys were like really big, try hard ones that were going to self-destruct. And some of them just like, frankly, like the Hamzas didn't really care about winning the game at all. And that was evident in how they played. I mean, it's entertaining as hell, but I knew right away based on his pregame stuff that this guy's not here to win the game.
Right. Yeah. He's there to make an impact, which he did,
But the difference between Kayla and an Erica in Kayla's HOH, she has everybody running around like chickens without heads, stressed out, thinking they're going on the block. Nobody feels safe. Everybody is filled with anxiety. She's confronting everybody, and everybody feels there's a feeling of unrest in the house.
Mhm.
Whereas with Erica talks to everybody, and everybody leaves the HOH room happy, hugs her, thanks her. Even if they know they're going on the block, they're hugging her and they're good, they're laughing. It's like she's the queen of diplomacy. And the thing is, when you get to the end, you forget what people say and what people do, but you never forget the way people make you feel.
Totally agree with that.
This could very well be the first time that I can remember in a long time, if at all, that a woman actually drags a man to the final two as a goat. She could drag Derek, who has done shit, to be honest, except her. So, I mean, to be honest, she could bring her showmance and she would win hands down. Somebody tell me something Derek has done.
I don't even know him.
See, you just answered the question.
I'll say something, Derek. I'll say something Derek has done, because
Okay.
I'm more of an advocate for all around gameplay, and I know it's not something that necessarily resonates all that well with fans, because the fans I feel like they look in general mostly just to the gameplay and the strategic side of things and the plotting and the scheming, and I feel like that is defined as gameplay, whereas like the sitting down dinner conversation type stuff that I like to describe.
Did I get
Sorry,
stuck?
No, you're okay.
Okay, so I think Derek has done some good social gameplay in terms of integrating himself with a lot of different people. And I think that's an important element of the game that is often overlooked by a lot of people, because we want to see the people that are constantly gaming and constantly strategizing and constantly being the people that are sort of pitting people against each other, maybe, or making the big backdoor moves or the strategic moves. Derek, though, I believe is doing a good job of socializing with everybody. He's not taking too many things to heart. There was a couple times where he heard his name being thrown out there as potentially getting put up, and he just, to his credit, he didn't like go to that person and was like, hey, what the fuck, right? He just kind of like took it all with a grain of salt and said, you know what, it's a game, it's all good. So he has a likability factor to him in how he's talking to people, and how he's just like he's very open, and he's a much better listener, I feel like, than people give him credit for. Now, none of that stuff is ever going to make the edited TV show, but in the grand scheme of things, at the very end of the game, the number one thing that everybody is always going to vote on, and people are always going to bitch and complain about this and say, well, it's bitter jury this, it's bitter jury that. But the fact of the matter is, the person who's going to win every single time in a final two situation is the person who is more well-liked than the other person. It doesn't throw out the amount of game moves, the amount of comps you won, the amount of HOHs. If the other person sitting next to you is a little bit more well-liked than the rest of the jury, then the jury is going to vote for that person. So I would agree that Derek hasn't been the most active, and he's definitely not the most inept when it comes to sort of the dynamics on the house and who's going after him and whatnot. But he has a likability factor about him that makes him more endearing than some of the other people that are in there. So I wouldn't rule Derek out of potentially winning the game. I think he's got a chance.
But do you think it would be the same thing if he weren't part of Dayla? Like if he was on his own and not a part of that at all, do you still think that would stand true with him? Do you think maybe he's using his own showmance, his own woman, as a shield?
I don't know necessarily. I think that if Kayla ends up, because I don't see them both making it to the end together. I see one of them getting chopped off eventually at some point, and it's probably coming within the next few weeks. I believe that if Derek happens to survive in an eviction against Kayla, I could very well see Derek making it to finale night, because who's threatened by Derek plotting or scheming against them?
No one.
Worried. Who's exactly?
Yeah.
I think like he's playing a game to get himself to the end. Yes, but who can he win against?
Ryan.
You think so?
He can win against Ryan. Yeah, I really do think he can win against Ryan.
It all depends on like how you word it. You know, you got to make people think that
I can see
deserving
Ryan,
winner.
His final speech.
You know, like the way I look at a deserving winner, and I use the Carrie at prom night analogy, is if you don't look like Carrie at prom night, you know, with blood dripping down your hands, you know, you got the blood on your hands because you did the work, I don't think you deserve to win. I want to see Carrie at prom night at the final two.
Yeah.
And then I know you're a deserving winner because you made moves. You didn't just sit back and get drugged to the end like a goat. You made moves. You won competitions. You slayed people. You know, you sent people packing. But
slaying people is one thing. When you're a part of the jury, you don't want to feel like you're the one that was. You can say bitter jury as much as you want, but if you feel like you're the one that was slain and you're the one that was backstabbed and stuff, like Derek can easily make an argument against some people and being like, you know what? This wasn't my doing. None of this stuff was my doing. You guys aren't sitting here because of me. And some people might be like, you know what? Derek didn't do me wrong. We saw how Paul lost to Josh.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I was going to say.
You can say whatever you want about Paul getting screwed and not maybe deserving it more than Josh. But the fact of the matter is, Josh obviously did something a little bit, not much more, but obviously he did a little bit more to get that one extra vote and beat somebody who was clearly like a powerhouse and ran the whole game from start to finish. And that's another factor in to the game, is that if you feel hard done by through someone else, that could like come back to bite you in the end. And some people do have a lot of blood on their hands heading down the stretch here. So I honestly think Derek has an okay shot. It's all about the angle that he plays. It's all about, if he gets to the end, what is going to be his angle as to why he deserves to win over whoever's sitting next to him. He's got to play that off and be like, you know, if he's sitting next to somebody like Erica, he can be like, I may not have won as many competitions, but I didn't fuck you over. 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 Erica did that to all of you. That's a legitimate argument for Derek to win, say, against Erica. Against somebody like Ryan, he can be like, well, you know what? I was straight up with all of you. I never lied. I was never shady or anything like that. That's a legitimate. It's all about your angle as to why you deserve to win against somebody else. And Derek, I agree, he's not the most riveting television in the world. Would he make one of the best winners ever? Absolutely not. But does he have a chance to win? Absolutely.
I just don't think he could really go up against someone like I said before. If he did end up in the final two with Kayla, I don't think that he would sit there and throw her under the bus. I think he would be a cheerleader for her to win. Like if he ended up that way. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, Joel. I just don't see him being able to articulate verbally what he has done in the game against someone else.
I mean, like he doesn't really have like it almost matters like if the person next to him articulates it in the wrong way.
Right.
Now that we're in jury, like think about how much Paul fucked up like his goodbye messages. Like honestly, like that's like a big reason that he lost Big Brother 19 is that he like lied in his goodbye messages. He didn't take ownership and say like, listen, like, I'm sorry. Like he didn't have any remorse for what he did. So say like, yeah, like Erica's playing an amazing game right now, but, and I feel that she does kind of do this already, but in her goodbye messages and like even in her like veto speeches and stuff like that, she has a little bit of a sting. And I don't think that sending people on the way out the door, now that we're in jury, that's the best way to do that. So that could easily happen. And like, I really hope not, because I want Erica to succeed in this game. But she just needs to be careful about that, because then somebody like Derek could end up winning.
I agree. We have someone in the chat room, Mars. He's one of our loyal followers. He has a question for you, Joel. Any scoop on what happens in the BB Canada jury house?
In my jury house, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know too much, simply because I wasn't in there for very long. I was only in, I don't think I was in there for even a week, because I got to Final 5. So, I mean,
what do they give you to do in there? Like, do you watch movies? What do you do?
Yeah, we got movies. We still don't have access to anything that's going on in the outside world for that time. I watched Scarface one time. I remember that. I don't know.
Good movie to watch after being in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, right. Scoop. I mean, there was a lot of tension between myself and Jared and Raul for about a day or so after the jury deliberation stuff, and they kind of edited it a little bit weirdly, the jury deliberation stuff. I think the only comment I had during the whole jury deliberation was the brothers were 2 people and they didn't use that to their advantage. But realistically speaking, in the jury deliberation stuff, and I remember this quite clearly, was Jared and Raul were obviously like doing everything to try to advocate for Kelsey. And literally every time Raul or Jared spoke up for Kelsey, I was like, yeah, but you know what? She got evicted. She had no desire to win the game. She rode your coattails, Jared. She did this, she did that. And they never showed any of that. So like they were all, I think, kind of surprised, because they were all like, where's this like nice guy person coming out and like basically bashing Kelsey this whole time and saying like she doesn't deserve to win because of this, because of this. There was a segment on Entertainment Tonight Canada that we did before that jury deliberation where they said, who do you guys want to win the game? Who do you guys not want to win the game? And most people, ironically, put their hands up for the brothers when they said they don't want them to win the game, but yet they got most of the votes. And I was the only one who put my hand up for Kelsey and said, I think Kelsey had no desire to win the game until Jared and Raul. I still believe this, that she had no desire to win the game until Jared and Raul got evicted. And then it was kind of like, well, let's do it for my friends and let's do it for my team since I'm the only one left. But she was always interested in finishing second place, and it wasn't until her whole friends got eliminated that she didn't want to win. So there was there was kind of a point for a day or so where me and Raul and Jared didn't talk, because they didn't like the fact that I was like so anti Kelsey and being like, yeah, well, you know, Kelsey didn't do this good, didn't do this good, didn't do this good. So I don't care about the whole friendship thing. Who the fuck cares about that? That doesn't win you the game. The fact that she had no desire to want to cut off a friend knowing she could have won the game by doing that shows to me that she doesn't deserve to win the game. So that's the best sort of dirt or jury thing, but it wasn't anything like we're past it now. It was a lot of tension at the time because there was a big responsibility on our hands. But yeah, that's the best I got. I ate a lot. I didn't eat a lot when I was in the Big Brother house because I was on slot for quite a few weeks. So I ate a lot of ice cream and grilled cheese sandwiches and stuff. Okay. That was cool.
So Mars also, he has a second question for us. Joel, out of the 3 hosts of this show, which one would you choose as an ally?
Out of you 3?
And if we were in the house.
Right here? It's difficult because I'm more of like take your time kind of person and socially try to get to know someone and then hopefully they come to me. That's how I played the game when I was in there, was try to find something in common with each and every person. And then from there, see who comes to me and offers me sort of the best part of the deal. So if I was to pick one of you, I mean, can I just like pretend that it's all three of you, like my game, and be like the middle person in the middle, and then hopefully you guys don't talk to each other? Can we do that?
Oh, we talk.
You play us all. You can play us all.
There you go. Let's do that.
Yeah,
Then
we
why
talk.
not?
You probably wouldn't want to align with me because I flat out said I let shit slip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
I'll give you an out.
I would want to eliminate somebody like that right away. Anybody who talks too much in there is great if you're watching at home as a fan, but it's scary as shit when you're in there because you're like, well, when are they going to do that again?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I did come to you to ask you to come on the show, so I approached you first. So
It would be Deb. It's fine. Look, we know it would be Deb. It would be Deb. We're just going to say.
Sure.
and we know how loyal I am.
Yeah, I just know that I am very talkative and I am social. But what a lot of people don't know about me is when I'm put into a group of people that I don't know, I'm not out like this the whole time. Like I have to sit back and I'm quiet at first and I analyze and I'm trying to pick who can I talk to in this group? Who could I connect with? So sometimes I either come off as real sweet and shy, or I'm just a snobby brat who doesn't want, or I'm too good to talk to people. And that's not the case at all. So I'm always trying to analyze like, who can I bond with or who can I really connect with?
Yeah. So Joel, who's the winner this season?
I mean, it's right at this stage right now. I feel like I'm gonna go with Kayla. I think Kayla, even though I feel like she would be the smarter one to get rid of if a Derek and Kayla thing happens, I feel like she is smart enough and has talked more game with more people that she will be able to get herself out of that situation and paint Derek as a bit of a bigger target. And if she survives a Derek and Kayla elimination and then she's sort of seen on her own, we've seen time and time again those type of people make it all the way to the end and potentially win, because once you don't have the baggage of somebody else in a showmance, everybody kind of forgets about you. So I think Kayla has the chops to do it. So I'm gonna say Kayla.
Yep, I sign off on that. I totally agree with that.
I agree.
Deb and
I
Allison?
agree. I mean, my answer changes every week. Okay. I don't even remember who I said last week.
I think I said Kayla last week as well.
Okay. I just can't. I don't know.
I think I have Kayla as my second pick. I had Erica as my first pick, and I have Kayla because I do McCrae's draft, and I have Erica, I have Kayla, and I have Derek, and somebody else that got voted off.
I think I said Erica too. I think Erica has been mine, but I try not to say anything because every time I pick someone, they don't make it very far.
Yeah.
And one last question that I have for you, Joel. Who do you keep up with from your season?
Who do I keep in touch with?
Yeah.
I mean, I try to keep in touch with everybody as much as possible. The people that I probably keep in touch with the most are, I live not too far from Levita. So me and Levita usually hang out for weekends and just like watch movies, talk Big Brother, just talk about life and other things like that. I'm out in Burnaby now in BC. So there's a lot of people from the BBCAN crew that are around here. I see Peter sometimes on TV show sets. We're with the same talent agency here in Vancouver. And probably from my particular season, Dallas and Levita are the two that I'm in touch with the most. Yeah.
So did you say that you have a podcast?
Yeah, I do.
So tell us about how we can find you and interact, and tell us about your podcast.
Sure. So it's on my YouTube channel, Joel Lefevre, JoelLefevre. You can search me on there and you'll find me. The name of the podcast is called Random Thoughts. I started it in around Celebrity Big Brother time. And yeah, I've been lucky enough to get a lot of evicted house guests from Big Brother Canada on my show so far. I'm going to be chatting hopefully with Hamza, he hasn't told me otherwise. I have penciled him in for tomorrow to talk about his game, to talk about his time in the Big Brother Canada house and some of the dynamics that are going on now. I'm hoping to get Marin on next week. I've talked with the people that run his social media account. And yeah, so it's been a Tuesday and a Sunday thing, sort of breaking down the weeks and some of the things that lie ahead. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far.
Cool.
Awesome. I can subscribe to you.
How can we find you? Like are you on Twitter?
Yeah, so you can find everything that I'm doing, whether it's my podcast or if I'm working around the community or traveling or whatever I might be doing. You can find me on Twitter at JoelBBCAN. My Instagram account is JoelBBCAN4. And you can hit me up on Facebook as well. My fan page is Joel Lefevre, Big Brother Canada 4. And I think I got a few more spots for friend requests potentially. So I might take a few applications for some friend requests if you're interested down the road for my actual Facebook page, Joel Lefevre, not my fan page. But yeah, hit me up on there. Feel free to follow along and like and subscribe. Check out some of the stuff that I do for my podcast. Like I said, I've talked to all but one of the evicted house guests. I'm going to be talking to Kirsten, one of the gate crashers, in a week from now. I'm hoping to have Brendan and Rachel on in the next week or two as well. They follow along with Big Brother Canada. So lots of fun, interesting guests and some good BBCAN chat.
Awesome.
I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to do this show today. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I'm probably going to send you a friend request on Facebook.
I already did.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. Again, thank you, Joel. We really appreciate you coming on this show. You are our second reality show guest that we've had. And I'm trying to build this tiny little YouTube channel. I've been doing this for 3 years, and we're trying to make it into something. So hopefully people will tune in. And again, we really appreciate it. If you guys want to find me, I'm on Instagram at the.memphis.darling. I am on Twitter at Summers, SOMMERS 1977. And please subscribe to My Weekly Meltdown on YouTube. That way you can get notifications when we go live and post videos. And please like and share My Weekly Meltdown on Facebook. And you can find Debbie on Twitter. Oh, hold on. I got to do my Debbie thing.
Okay.
You can find Debbie on Twitter at My Next Live, Debbie, and that's DEBI. And Tyler, I can never spell your shit right. So how do we find you on social media?
It's at T Lyons with 2 Z's. TLYONZZ.
Right.
And if you need a wedding photographer, you hit up T Lyons because
yes, please.
He's the man.
Cool. Thank you.
And he does travel.
He does travel. And also we are live at 9, 8 Central on Wednesdays to cover Big Brother. I'm sorry, not Big Brother. Survivor. Ghost Island every freaking Wednesday. And we're here every freaking Saturday to talk about Big Brother Canada. So thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm going to sign off, but you guys can stay logged in. We're going to stay logged in, but I'm shutting the show off. Okay. So thank you so much for being a part of this, and we'll see you guys Wednesday, or we will see you guys next Saturday. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.